So class section 5.2 is using the regular normal distribution. So in 5.1, we found out how to find probabilities for the standard normal distribution. In this section, we'll do probabilities for any normal distribution. So if a random variable x is normally distributed, you can find the probability it will fall in a given interval by calculating the area under the normal curve for that interval. So here it's showing us our mean is 500, our standard deviation is 100. And so again, 600 would be one standard deviation above the mean. So this is the inflection point. And we want to find the probability that x is less than 600. So there are two ways we can do that. We can convert the value of 600. We can take this whole, basically we're taking this curve and we're converting this into a standard normal curve. So x is 600. So we use the formula for z, x minus mu over sigma, and I get 600 minus 500 over 100, which is 1. So I'm going to use my standard normal curve, and I can look up when when z is 1, and I can use the table and find this corresponding probability. Okay, so let's do that. So if I use the table, okay, I need to go down to where it has the positive ones, okay, positive z-scores. Right, so I want a z-score of 1.00, and so that's 0.8413, okay, 0.8413. So let's look at Excel, and there are two ways that we could do this. So this is just a normal distribution probability. Okay, so I need a mu and I need a sigma. Okay, and then I also need an x value. So for this case, my mean was 500, my standard deviation was 100, and my x value was 600. And then if I want the probability that x is less than or equal to this x, right, the 600, so I'm just going to call that little x. So I want the area to the right. This is also area to right of x, right? So the way that I find this, not using the standard normal, because I could just change this now to 1, correct? Up here, right? I could go up all the way up to the top here, and I could make this value 1, and I would get that number that I saw in the table, 1.08413, 0.8413. I'm just going to change this back to 1.23 because I want it like that. All right. But the way that we do this in Excel, instead of using the table, is I'm going to go norm.dist. I'm going to go over here. Okay. Oops. Equals norm.dist. And then I'm going to use my arrows, and I'm just going to, oh, I just want the standard one. So this is the one I want. So I'm going to go ahead and hit tab to grab that. And notice it wants me to put in x, comma, the mean, comma, the standard deviation, comma, and then remember cumulative is always true. Okay, so the thing that I used is equals norm dot dist. I'm just going to grab the formula so that it. Okay, I'm going to put well here. So it's going to be x, comma mu, comma sigma, comma So I'm just putting this in my notes so you can see it. So this is the formula. Norm.dist x mu sigma true, x mu sigma true, and that returned the 0.8413. So that's how you do these, and I need to put in all three, oops, I need to put in all three of these things, so let me just make those red. So these are my inputs, and I can calculate the probability to the right of x. So again, if I need it to the left, I use 1 minus this, and if I need it between two values, I would have to put in two x values here. So let's look at our homework, because we're now ready to do the homework. Where did my homework go? I'm now ready to do my homework. I think it's here. Numbers 5 and 6. So let's go ahead and look at those. All right, so number 5. Assume the random variable x is normally distributed with mu 87 and standard deviation 4. So let me do this again. So let's just copy this. Over into our chapter 5 homework. All right, so it's normally distributed with mean 87, standard deviation 4, and find the probability. X is less than 81. So X is 81, and I want the probability X is less than 81. You know what? I'm going to try. Let me see if I can make just this piece red. I don't know if it'll work. Yeah, there we go. So that tells me that that's the X value that I put in. Okay, and I got 0.0. Oh, and these should always be to 4 decimal places. So let's go ahead and make this just to 4 decimal places, 0.0668. Okay, and then the next one, it wants me to find the area in between two pieces. So let's create one that's for the area in between two places. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. And now I have my, I need my mu, my sigma, and then I'm going to make this one x1. And then I'm just going to insert a row here, and I'm going to put in an x2. Right, and so my first one will be the probability that x is less than x1. Let's make that red. Okay, and then I'm going to also calculate x is less than x2. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because I'm going to set this whole thing up. Okay, and then that's how we can subtract to get the probability that x1 or x2 is less than x is less than x1. So I just wanted to show that these are the things that I had input. Okay. All right. So here are assume a member is selected at random from the population represented by the graph. Find the probability that the member is in the shaded region. Assume X is normal. Okay, so let's just, I'm going to pop this out just so I can see it better. All right, so it says that my mean is 271 and my standard deviation is 12, and my upper X value is 292, and my lower X value is 282. Okay, and I want the probability I'm in between 282 and 292. So in here. All right, so first I want the probability that that X is less than 292. So I'm going to equal norm dot dist, and then it's X, comma, mu, comma, sigma, comma, true. And then I'm just going to anchor my mean, and I'm going to anchor, oops, my standard deviation. And that's so that these will stay the same. My X will change, but my mean and standard deviation will stay the same. So I can just copy this formula. So the probability that X is less than 292 is 0.956. Let's make this to 4 decimal places. Right, and then I'm just going to copy this formula down. Okay, the probability X is less than 282 is 0.82. And to get the that it's in between, it's equals, and it's the difference. 0.1396. Okay, so that's the end of that one, right? And this next one is from section 5.3. So you're now ready to do numbers 5 and 6 from your homework.